G'day, and a fine howdy hey guys, I'm Cambion Carrera, and just before I start today's story time, I'd just like to say I'm dropping back from uploading twice a week. I'm finding it now with my new schedule, that it's, extremely difficult to keep uploading twice a week, so I'm just gonna make it, instead of Mondays to Thursdays, or Mondays and Thursdays I should say, to just Mondays. This is because, I now have a full-time job where previously I had just a casual once-a-week job. So it's more hours to that. And then also I got to work on my comic, which I fully completed chapter 1. But basically you're not going to see it till I finish the trailers for it. So whoop-dee-dip-dee-da-dee-doo, you can have speed paints and story times till then. But yeah, so I'm just gonna be uploading Mondays from now on until I have a better fucking schedule, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, for today's story time, I'd like to talk about when I was in primary school. Oh wow, I haven't been on that train before. Oh jeez. But yeah, so I was a bit of an airhead in primary school. What do you mean, Cambion Carrera? You always were an airhead. Shut up. But yeah, I was a bit of an airhead in primary school, and so it led me to some awkward and troubling things. Now, one of them, I don't remember how I ended up in this classroom, since this teacher wasn't exactly my normal teacher. I never had her as an actual teacher. I've only been in her class a few times. It was probably because, I remember my primary school had, those open wall things where, you could do open plan learning. It had the walls where if you open it up, you'd have two classrooms turned into one. That's basically what it is. I don't know why it took so long to explain it like that. But basically, we had this teacher, and she was known school-wide as the fucking bitch. Why wouldn't she be? There's always that bitch teacher in every school. But she was old, she was cruel, she was nasty, she was mean. She wasn't the only one that was known as the school bitch, but she was one of the top tier, top dog cunts. But basically, I somehow was in her class. I'm guessing a teacher, our normal teacher, was doing something, so we had to be in her classroom for some reason. I don't remember why. But I was in her class, and I remember listening to her bullshit teachers, whatever. She wasn't really a good teacher. She didn't really explain shit. She just was like, oh yeah, this, and then she'll sit at her desk. And if you have any questions to ask, good luck, buddy, because you're not getting them answered. But basically, I was in her class listening to her lecture, as a 9, 10-year-old listening to this old woman's fucking lecture, to which, why would you lecture a 9 to 10-year-old? They're not gonna keep that in. That kid's busy, I don't know, fucking probably picking their nose. I don't fucking know what kids do anymore. I'm so out of touch with kids these days. I feel like an old lady. But, I don't know why I needed to say that, but I did anyway. I've been living off 2-minute noodles and Coca-Cola for the past 3 days. But, my mind. But basically, I remember, having to stretch. I always have this weird thing where I need to stretch, awkwardly. And it's not like a normal, raise your arms up above your head and just pull the shoulder joints. Because I've always had back problems. I don't know if you guys know this, but I have a curve in my spine. Not exactly sure how got the curve in my spine. There's been multiple theories that my family's made of how I got it, where it's sitting poorly or, other things, but whatever, it's there, and I can't really do much about that. It makes my torso shorter, which fucking is awkward when shopping for clothes. But, I was sitting in this chair, and suddenly I get the urge that my back needs to stretch because it's aching. So I do what I do. I was in a tight desk, so it's like where you sit at a desk and the chair makes your legs touch the bottom of this desk. It's an awkward fucking position to be in, you know. So I slide my chair out just a little bit, and of course the only way I could properly stretch my back is that if I'm at an angle on my chair, which means having to lean back on my chair. Anyone who knows well about leaning back on their chair will probably know where this story is going. Now, I leaned back on my chair stretching, and, you know, it made my back feel nice and goody-goody. But that's when hell began, because the chair didn't stop going backwards. No, it just kept fucking going. Took me with it, and I went backwards and slammed my fucking skull on the table behind me and made a giant crack. You know, I look up, put my hand on the back of my head, everyone's looking at me, the teacher's like, oh, what the fuck happened? She didn't actually say what the fuck happened. Like, imagine if she did though, holy shit, she'd be fired. But she was like, oh, what happened? Looked at me, saw I was like on the fucking ground at this point, hand on the back of my head. She puts the puzzle pieces together, and then straight away, she just goes, you know, oh, are you alright? And I'm like, instinctively go, oh, yeah. And she then just goes back to class and then makes a short comment on why you don't lean back on your chair, to which, I mean, yeah, I was leaning back my chair, but that wasn't the primary thing. Like, a lot of kids, they like to lean back on their chair randomly. I was stretching, man. Like, another thing is, like, she didn't even, like, go up to me. She didn't move from her fucking chair. She was teaching from her chair. She, like, behind her desk, pointing at this fucking board on the other side of the room. She's like, da-da-da. Oh, 1 times 1 equals 1. Oh, wow. And then, you know, sees this kid that just fucking smashed their skull on the fucking table and goes, oh, you alright? Oh. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm quite alright. And then just goes, oh, okay. Well, if they've said they're alright, they must be alright then. And just gone back to teaching. So my friends attending to me because they're like, they actually care about my well-being, thank you. And I've removed my hand from the back of my head because the whole time I've had my hand, I don't remember which one, it was probably both at this point, to be honest. I moved my hand from the back of my skull, and if anyone knows, I have hereditary palmoplantar keratoderma. I can't feel what's on the pad of my hands because they're thin. I can't speak because the skin is so thick. I mean, it's thick, it's dry. I can't feel textures or moisture very well. So, of course, I can't feel if there's anything on my hand. So, of course, I sit back in my chair, I've removed my hand from my head, I go back to work, I look down as I'm about to write some fucking notes or doodle. I don't remember, it was probably doodling. I don't really give a fuck at school. I didn't really give a fuck about the teacher at that age or learning or anything. I just did whatever I wanted. But I remember looking down and there's blood all over my hand and all over my page from when I've put my hand on my page. And I was like, what the fuck? How did where's this blood coming from? So I used my other hand. I don't remember which hand I used at that point, but I remember using my other hand, patting the back of my head, bring it down. It's blood. There's more blood. So I raised my hand. I raised my bloody hands up in the air. Oh, jeez. And the teacher's like, oh, what do you want? Can't you see I'm busy teaching? And I'm like waving and I'm like, yo, can you not see my child bloody hands? She looks and goes, oh, do you need to go to the sick bay? Like, she actually asked me, like, do I need to go to sick bay? Like, you see a child in class fucking bleeding, right? And you go, oh, do you need to go to sick bay? Like, yes, bitch. I need to go to sick bay. I'm bleeding. Why is that a question that needs to be asked? But she goes, oh, well, I'll give you a hall pass, which I'm bleeding. I don't need a fucking hall pass. So I just skip her shenanigans. I get the fuck up and I just walk out because I've had enough of her fucking piss farting around doing whatever she wants to do. She was taking too long of my time. So I just got up, walked out, walked to the office, showed them my bloody head and hands. And they're like, oh, you better call your parents. To which, you know, my mum comes to school, she's pissed off because she's had to fucking get dressed. She's, like, woken up. She has to get out of her fucking PJs. You know, she was enjoying, like, scrolling on her phone in bed, and then she gets a phone call. Oh, hey, your dumbass daughter just on the fucking table. And she's, you know, come to school, she takes me to the doctor. And of course, me and my little pussy self, I don't like needles, so I don't get stitches. I have to, like, glue that shit together. Like, I had a whole, like, open wound on my skull. Like, I've still got the scar, so I could put, you know, my hand on the back of my head, and I could still feel where I cracked my skull open. Like, the scar is very bumpy. Like, I bet if I shaved my head, it would look like I was in Vietnam. It's, But, you know, I get my head glued together because I didn't want stitches. And then I have, like, the next week off because Mum felt bad, you know. It's sort of that thing where, you know, you could go to school, like, a few days, like, earlier, but you decide to milk it for what you can because fuck school. So you decide, like, hey, I'm gonna chill at home for a few more days, play Minecraft on my laptop, maybe Town of Salem, watch some fucking Scooby-Doo. Oh my god. But, you know, I milk it for all I can, I come back, and then I realized I became a little story in her class. She was like, you know, I don't remember if it was straight away or a couple, like, days after, but I do remember it was very straight away, where I heard her telling a bunch of grade 1s and 2s. Mind you, I was in, like, grade, 4, so it was only, like, 2 years down from us. I remember her telling, like, all these grade 1s and 2s. Now, I remember this girl who, you know, she rocked back on her chair, she cracked her skull open, and there was just blood everywhere. She was gone for weeks on end, this and that, some fucking bullshit. And, like, she's telling these fucking kids while I'm there. I think she's forgotten the fact that it was actually me, and she just was telling these kids, like, you know, and this is why you don't rock back on your chair. Like, okay, that's cool. But she made it like, I don't know how to describe it, but she made it as if, like, she was some hero in the story. Like, she was like, I knew straight away something was up. Like, bitch, you'd fucking just sat in your chair, went, are you okay, mate? Oh, you good? Okay, I'll go back to doing, no, fuck all. That's what I'm gonna go back to doing. Like, she didn't do anything. You didn't do anything, teacher. You didn't do anything. Like, I could have bled to death, and she would have been like, just but a flesh wound. Like,